Yeah, so today I decided to talk about whether or not you should get aftermarket speakers or not, if you were thinking about it. Here's a couple things you should think about if you actually are contemplating on getting some. I know I did. I will be making a video in regards to what speakers I did and stuff, because I want to keep my videos relatively shorter now. I realize that they're starting to be a little too long. But yeah, no, aftermarket speakers. Alright, so basically, first thing you want to think about is actually not what type of speakers you should get, and that comes later. First thing you want to think about is, do I race my car? So, if you race your car, then I would not suggest getting a set of aftermarket speakers at all, because that's just gonna add more weight to your car. Like, unless you're only swapping out the speakers, then okay, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But when I mean getting a speaker set up, I mean like going all out with whole new speakers in the car, and what is it? A couple subs in the back, like in the box or something. No, I would not do that. Now, if you plan on racing your car and you do actually want to get a set of speakers because it helps you race, you know, I would get some that are very light. I'm telling you this right now, I would not add any more speakers. If anything, I would take one out to save weight, and then just put an extra one. I mean, not an extra one, sorry. Put speakers that are putting out a lot more power. To like substitute that missing speaker. I would do it that way, and then just, you know, use the leftover power as extra power to make it louder by itself overall. I would do that. That could work. The way you can do that is very easy. If anything, just don't plug in that speaker, or just, you know, get some speakers that are overall louder and then just swap them all, period. You'll be losing some power, but if you want to do that, go ahead. Because I know some people, they do not like to take out the factory radio for that reason. Because a lot of people, they tend to listen to music when they race, and it helps get their adrenaline flowing, gets them thinking, and it gets their mind in a race mode. I know it does that for me. That's kind of why I usually tend to keep my radios if I do get a project car again. Well, actually, I never had one, but like every project car I've driven to race without a track, I always made sure I had a radio for that reason, because, you know, it's a lot easier for me to race with that. Now, another thing to think about is, if you don't race your car, you know, go ahead and go all out. Go ahead and put a box in the back, one or two speaker box, and an amplifier. That's what I did, because I don't race my car. I'm not really worried about the weight. Obviously, I'm not going to go over my own capacity and stuff, and I still use my car to take cargo and stuff, so weight savings is actually a good thing for me. I did think about that, and space saving, so this way I save a little more space. Yeah, so if you do that, you know, if you decide you're not going to race your car, you just drive it daily, and you want something fun to drive, then I would go ahead and do speakers. I did it for that reason. I will make a complete video on that. if you like to be loud, go ahead and be loud. You know, if you do decide to keep your car, this is where you start thinking, okay, if you do decide to not race your car and you want to put an aftermarket speaker system, here's what you got to think of next. You got to think about a couple of things. First of all, you got to think about whether you want to put subs in the back or you want to just replace the other sub, the OEM sub in your car, and then just hook it up to an amplifier. You got to think about that. Now, since you are putting a speaker system, you have to have an amplifier for your subwoofers, or else it's just not going to do anything and it's not going to be worth it. So first of all, you got to think about which amplifier you got to get. I did. The first thing you got to think about is how much wattage you want your peak power to be, and what type of amplifier would be best to work with it, and what cables and what speaker cables you should use to make that happen and most efficient. Now, if you do that, you'll be fine. Let's say if you want 1100 watts, if you want to get a speaker system capable of 1100 watts, just from the subwoofers alone. Okay, so here's what you got to do. You got to do two things. You would have to find an amplifier and a set of speakers that are capable of producing 1100 watts. So if you do that, then you're fine. Not only when you need to find the speaker system that you want that's capable of 1100 watts, you need to find the amplifier that can hold that could produce that kind of power into the speakers, and you need to have the speaker wires that are capable enough to hold that kind of power. Now, if you don't get the right speaker cables, it could not ignite, but it could overheat and start burning, and it's not going to be that great, considering after the wires are ran through the entire car, it's going to be expensive to fix. So make sure when you do buy the speakers, you buy the right setup kit for it, like the right kind of speaker wires and the best kind you can use, so that this way they don't overheat and stuff. So once you get the right amplifier and the right set of speakers that go really well with it, because you have to make sure the subwoofers and the amplifier go pretty well, and then you got to get a good set of cables for it, because all three of those have to work with each other pretty well. That combination has to go pretty well. The best thing to do is take a combo that other people have used. Let's say you want this, like this subwoofer right here, whatever subwoofer you see online. I would look at the amplifiers that people use and pick the best one from there that you like, and same thing with the speaker wires, so that this way it works the best. Now, once you do that, obviously go get it hooked up. That's what I did. That's where you get your base. So your base is set. Now, if you want an overall, here's what you can do. You could go to pretty much any store, any audio store, and go look at a nice set of speakers for your car. Speakers and tweeters. It's good to have tweeters. So if you go look at a nice set of tweeters and speakers, pick out a good set that you like. Make sure you look at your OEM wattage first and a consistent power rate on the OEM on your regular speakers. general specs on your speakers first, and then once you figure that out, then you go look at other speakers and figure out what's the better part. Usually you can find your original specifications online. It's very easy, and then just go to the audio shop and then go look at other speakers and their specs and what their total wattages and stuff. It's very easy once you figure that all out. And then once you pick out your right set of speakers, you know, there's going to be two things that you may need. One thing is you may need a speaker adapter, and that's something that you hook into your that's something that you hook the speaker up to, and then well, actually no, you bolt it into the original speaker slot on the door or rear deck or wherever, and then after that you mount the speaker to the spacer. It's just another speaker mount, so that this way you can fit your aftermarket speaker. Now, before you mount it, you could either wire the speakers in two ways. If there is a speaker harness adapter for the speakers, I would suggest buying those and then hooking up the speaker wires, the speaker harness to the speaker, and then hook up the speaker wires to the harness. It's generally much easier to hook up the speakers to a harness and then hook up the harness to the speaker wires itself, because a lot of times it's just a regular plug. You don't have to cut any wires or solder them or anything. It's just a regular plug, and that's it. Sorry, someone almost hit me. Yeah, if you do that, if you hook them up that way, it's very easy. Once you hook up the speaker wire, speakers to the harness, and then hook up the harness to the speaker wires, then it's very easy. Your speaker's already wired up at that point, and then just bolt it right in, like with the speaker adapter, like so this way you can mount it and stuff. Just mount it in place, and that's it. You're pretty much done. You don't have to do any special programming. The speaker's already in. Once you do that for all your speakers, you're pretty much set. So the last part after that, you could do a head unit swap, but I did not on mine. So best thing to do is probably do a head unit swap, depending on your car. But you know, if you like this video, please like it, rate it, subscribe to it. It's very easy to put this kind of stuff in. If you don't know how to install subs, you know, I would generally take it to a professional to do that, but generally mounting speakers are very easy. Just find a how-to video on YouTube, and it'll be easy to do. So alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.